Mercedes found new performance in W14 for Spanish GP, so we're gonna be going through that and 5 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Mercedes news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is Mercedes pair enjoy double podium finish. Red Bull's Max Verstappen completed another magical weekend by claiming a dominant victory at the 2023 Spanish Grand Prix, leading the race from the off after he took pole position with ease on Saturday. The Dutchman took the checkered flag for the 5th time this season as his World Drivers' Championship title defense continued in style. Verstappen was originally put under pressure by Ferrari's Carlos Sainz, who nearly took the lead at the opening corner of the race, but after fighting off that advance he never looked in any form of danger for the rest of the race. Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton came home in P2 around a track where he's previously won 6 times, the joint most in history, whilst his teammate George Russell rounded out the podium spots with a fantastic recovery drive from P12 on the grid. Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz, Lance Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Esteban Ocon, Yuki Tsunoda and Zhou Guanyu all took points in a largely uneventful race on the outskirts of Barcelona. The second story is Lewis Hamilton ready to sign new Mercedes contract. Lewis Hamilton hinted on Sunday that he may be poised to sign a new contract with Mercedes within days. The 7-time world champion, who finished second for Mercedes behind defending world champion Max Verstappen in Sunday's Spanish Grand Prix, said he expected to meet team boss Toto Wolff on Monday. "I haven't signed anything yet, but I think we are meeting with Toto tomorrow, so hopefully we can get something done," said Hamilton, whose current deal expires this year. In a post-race news conference, asked to explain if the meeting was potentially decisive, he added, "It wasn't a subtle hint. We've had so many meetings, and this is just another one of the meetings we are having. You can see from my performance today that I am not affected by that, but it is always there at the back of your mind. Once it's done, then you are able to focus more and to think about the future, and I'm working as hard as I can with this team. I see so much strength within the team. They are still so hungry." The podium today was really special, to be able to see the excitement in all the people that have worked for such a long time. When we go back right now, there will be great energy in the office. These guys take 2 seconds to enjoy themselves and be happy, and then they'll be back down into the books and trying to figure out how we can win the next race. He added that he was hoping not only for continuing developments of their car that might help the team compete this year against Red Bull, but more importantly begin work now to create a challenger that can succeed in 2024. "That's where we need to be going," he said. "Max will win and win again this year, but we need to focus on next year and being able to, at least, compete and race against him. Personally, for me, I am feeling fit and healthy, and I think that was a very solid race for me today, and I want to keep going for as long as I can. But I want to be where Max is, or racing him, at least. I'm super focused on getting to that point. There's a long way to go, but there's time." Hamilton, who has won 6 of his 7 titles with Mercedes since joining them in 2013, was linked with a move to Ferrari last month, but both the Italian team and the Briton distanced themselves from the speculation. On Sunday, he added, "I'm really happy with where I am in my life. I think I've got all the ducks in a row where I am able to really focus. I've got a great team around me, both off track and on track. There's great stuff that's happening with Mission 44. I've got a great team in London working on that, and I'm starting to see the impact. I've got a great team of engineers here. I've been with Bono for a long time, and what Bono and Mike and all the guys here are doing is such a fantastic job." The third story is Verstappen wins with Mercedes duo Hamilton and Russell on podium. Max Verstappen has won the Spanish Grand Prix to extend his world championship lead over his Red Bull teammate Sergio Perez. Lewis Hamilton came second, followed by his Mercedes teammate George Russell. For all of the hubbub and excitement about the layout change to the final sector at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, there's little to suggest it breathed much life into a tepid race. There were some decent battles at points, but it was hardly a race jam-packed with overtaking. High tire degradation led to plenty of offset strategies, meaning many overtakes were simple affairs. Few fights sustained more than a few corners as the quicker car with fresher tires swept past. Carlos Sainz made a self-effacing joke that overtaking didn't feel that difficult out there. "For the others on me, it was pretty easy." Again, a slower car plus a suboptimal strategy equals not much of a contest. We explored the topic of Spain's F1 future ahead of the race weekend, and where the Barcelona track fits into the picture, particularly amid interest from Madrid in a possible street race. The on-track product did little to argue for this track being a mainstay on the calendar moving forward, while off-track fans still struggled with heavy traffic. There is still massive room for improvement in the overall product. Throughout the weekend, tire degradation was higher than expected. Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya is already known for its high deg, given the abrasive track surface. Part of that may be due to the change in the final sector, where the high-speed right-handers put more load on the left-hand side, specifically the left front tire. On race day, tire performance drew mixed reviews among the drivers. As noted earlier, Leclerc stopped around the same time as Sainz despite starting on the hard compound, which is supposed to be more durable. Valtteri Bottas said when he swapped for new tires, it helped for just a few laps before he began sliding. Logan Sargeant noticed his stints varied, noting the tire just went away from me quickly during the last leg. Verstappen was the only driver in the top 10 to start on mediums, while those behind him opted for soft tires. But he noticed something was up when he pitted for the hard compound. I actually expected them to be a little bit better, but somehow they just didn't have a lot of grip, and I was actually sliding around quite a bit. I mean, of course, the pace was still okay, but I couldn't really create much more of a gap, not how I would have liked. The Red Bull driver pitted one more time for soft tires, which he said were better, and he wasn't the only one who felt that way. Sainz noted, if you look at what Lewis did on the soft was a pretty resilient tire. For us, at the moment, it's not. But for the others, it looked like they could push on it much harder and go longer. Red Bull fans aside, the 2023 season really is one of those that has you wondering how exciting the championship battle would be if Max Verstappen wasn't in it. That's not intended as a criticism or complaint against Verstappen, who made it 3 victories in a row in Spain by delivering one of his most dominant performances of the year. But the fight behind him ebbs and flows spectacularly and perhaps gets overlooked because it's not for the win. After Verstappen topped every practice session and took pole position, even enjoying the luxury of being able to abort his final Q3 lap with a half-second advantage over the field, the pairing of Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris directly behind him showed it wasn't as simple as Red Bull wiping the floor with the rest. In fact, Sergio Perez hadn't even reached Q3 in the sister Red Bull due to an error, leading to 7 different constructors filling the first 7 positions on the grid. The whole build-up on Sunday morning was spent watching radars and checking the skies, with dark clouds surround the circuit but the track itself bathed in sunshine. If the sun stayed out, it would be a tougher race for the soft compound tire compared to if it clouded over. Any rain would really throw a spanner in the works. What that did was increase the potential for Sainz and Norris to attack, as their soft tires would provide more grip off the line on the long run to turn 1. And Sainz duly did, trying round the outside as Verstappen went defensive, but failing to hold on. The fourth story is Mercedes star Russell addresses embarrassing sweatgate during Spanish Grand Prix. Russell had a superb race in Barcelona after he finished 3rd, having initially started down in 12th. However, his race will also be remembered for a peculiar radio message where he believed it was raining at turn 5 during the race, only to realize that it was sweat from within his own helmet. The Mercedes man addressed the incident after the race, saying, "Firstly, with the sweat, I had my hair dangling down in the first stint. I think I didn't quite get it in my balaclava, and that was annoying me because it was in my peripheral vision. And then as I was sweating because it wasn't in my balaclava, it was dripping down onto my face. And then when I was braking, it was coming onto my visor, so with the gray clouds. And then the spots of water on the visor, I thought it was rain. So that was a bit of an embarrassing one." Russell had another memorable radio interaction after he overtook Carlos Sainz during the race. After passing the Ferrari driver down the inside, his race engineer Marcus Dudley said, "Solid work," before Russell quipped back, "Just solid." Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff then got involved to say it was pretty good. In a light-hearted series of messages, Russell clarified after the race that it was all in good faith. "I think it was just a bit of a joke with Marcus," he said. "We have a bit of back and forth, I think. Toto likes the big radio messages of encouragement, and Marcus and I sometimes say ... just be nice and calm in a situation is sometimes the best way to get the result." But yeah, it was a pretty decent move on Carlos, and yeah, I thought it was a little bit more than solid. But it's just a good laugh. The fifth story is a Verstappen masterclass and a Mercedes resurgence. Spain delivered an absolutely faultless performance from Max Verstappen, a welcome return to form from Mercedes, and a few moments of controversy to boot. And as the F1 drivers head off into the sunset for a well-deserved break before Canada, the F1 Nation crew are here to chew over all the action and key talking points from the race in Barcelona. Host Tom Clarkson is joined by German journalist Christian Meneth from motorsportmagazine.com and Spanish journalist Jesus Belson Balcero of Diario as to discuss all the action from Barcelona, including why we should revel in the sheer greatness on display from the two-time world champion as he secured another race win. There's also the return to form of Mercedes to look back on. Are they finally on their way back to the top after a double podium in Barcelona? You'll hear what Lewis Hamilton thinks about their upgrades after he finished P2 and George Russell stormed from 12th to 3rd. The double podium also saw Mercedes move above Aston Martin in the constructors' standings, with Alonso only able to manage P7 at his home race. His teammate Lance Stroll came home a place ahead in 6th. There's also discussion about the difficult Sundays for Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, and also Lando Norris. Plus, Esteban Ocon joins the pod after following his Monaco podium with a solid P8 result. So thanks for watching, and what's your thoughts on these stories? Let us know in the comment section below.